Amanda here. Thanks so much for tuning in to another episode of Peer to Peer. This is my podcast. I'm Amanda from Foster Decor Consulting. I'm super excited you're here because I have a lot of juicy tips that are sure to help your interior or eDesign business. If you have any special requests, feel free to email me or DM me for topic ideas. I'm super excited to learn what the community needs help with, as that's what I do, is help my interior and eDesign peers. If you have any questions, feel free to also ask away so we can also get to know each other and connect. Super excited you're tuning in. Thank you so much. So in this module, the dream client, let's narrow down that dream client, right? So it's an avatar, and sometimes it's like ICA, like there's all these different names for it, but we'll just call it DCA or dream client avatar. So defining your dream client takes work. It does. I'm not going to lie. Your DCA is made up of a character, right? Of the exact person you want to work with in your business. As your own boss, remember, that's why we're working for ourselves. You get to decide everything about your biz. So you can decide your business name, the services and pricing, your logo, branding, the colors of your website, maybe even the social media platforms that you're on. But most importantly, why not decide who you will work with, right? And who, more importantly, you won't work with. But again, remember, having that brand identity will give you a stronger foundation. Part of it. The other part is identifying this ideal client. So once these two are actually answered, you're going to see more success in your business. When you create a DCA for your business, you shift away from saying, I'm a designer who takes everyone who wants to work with me, to, I'm a designer, but I only work with a specific type of client. So VIP, right? Those people have wait lists for a reason, because they are speaking to a targeted audience. So showing you have standards actually causes people to immediately ask themselves if they measure up. It makes you look more VIP and higher quality to your preferred client. So again, I know there's some people out there thinking like, oh, well, I just lost all my cheapskates, and that's a good thing. So you don't want cheap. If you want to stop working, with cheapos, then you need to elevate your services too. So when you position yourself this way, the power belongs to you and not your audience. So a lot of people then race to the bottom, lowering their prices and trying to cater to everyone, and your quality just turns into cheap quantity, vague in general, and that is not working. Which are your ideal clients most likely going to be found on, right? So are they on Facebook? Like community, groups is popular on there. So be sure to get a business page and ads, but get the ads after you identify your brand identity and who your ideal clients are. Instagram, so visual business card, right? This is actually crucial. It's so funny. We don't actually have business cards so much anymore. We have our, social media platforms like, well, where's your Instagram? I want to see your Instagram. That's the new business card. So for organic engagement and finding clients, this is a great platform. What about Houzz? Houzz is full of potential clients looking for inspiration, right? Or looking for local businesses. Lots of clients looking on this platform. Same for Pinterest, which is not on here, but Pinterest is another one that your clients could be hanging out on. So be sure to pin. LinkedIn, professional networking platform. So share your blogs on there, because a lot of times with good hashtags, I've actually now been a bit more active on LinkedIn and sharing blogs or snippets from my blog and putting hashtags and getting clients that way. There's also Thumbtack, Yelp, Google. So this is a great way to get found locally, and be sure to always have those reviews on there. So understanding your dream client avatar, DCA, makes it easier, so much easier to know whom you're trying to talk to in a loud room of lots of people talking and talking and talking. So define that clear and specific messaging to your client so it can be consistent across all these platforms, which is another thing when I do my audits for my clients, aka my peers, you guys are on all of these platforms, but your messaging is vague and different on each and every one of them. So I'm about to do a VIP intensive as soon as I finish this podcast where I audit my client, her online presence. And again, I mean, I took a little peek, but she's got a different profile picture, on Facebook. She's got a different banner and, a cover on Pinterest and her business page. I mean, the messaging is different here. The messaging is different there. It's so inconsistent that it's just like, well, you're confusing your clients, your potential clients who need to see you between 5 to 7 times. And it's really hard to do if you're inconsistent on all of these platforms. But it's really easy to do if you are consistent on all of these platforms, because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 right there, not counting Pinterest, if they keep seeing you over and over again consistently. So ads and marketing, the more specific we can be, the closer we get to work with our dream client, right? So we'll benefit by understanding whom we enjoy working with, if you're honest with yourself, and can attract more of, which in turn helps repel the bad ones. So it's really important that we attract the right people, as just as important as it is to repel the bad ones. So don't purchase ads too early, like I said before. If you don't know your brand identity and you don't know your ideal client, I mean, the ads ask you a zillion questions, and most of the time people use ads wrong. So they don't adjust the sliders. They don't, like have smaller specific numbers for what they're doing. So don't get ads early. So the ads work best when you can narrow down all of the questions asked, right? So we got age, sex, gender, income, interest, ethnicity, even location. So understanding all this stuff makes it more exciting, right? To wake up to, yes, my dream clients. I know today I get to work on this project, which is in this signature style because of my brand identity, and I know who I'm working with. It's so much better to wake up to that versus, I gotta work with my mom's friend of a friend's cousin who's just been a pain in my ass, and I'm doing it for free, and I just wish I could actually charge higher. If your messaging isn't clear, it's a waste of time. For you to be on multiple platforms being vague or changing your style every other, week, aka it's confusing for your ideal client who needs to see you again between that 5 to 7, marker. So narrowing down, we talked about this in the last episode, but we're going to bring it up many, many, many times because, yes, niching down could alienate someone who otherwise might hire you. But what you need to understand is that going wide, right, with a wide net is what you've been doing so far, right? And has that been working? So make a connection with an audience and they'll start to trust you, right? So this connection should probably relate to something about yourself. So part of your ideal client is part of you. But remember, listen to the episode before with the brand identity to discover what that is. You need to create an emotional bond. So clients want to have that aha moment to finally get you, right? And that you guys relate. So this happens a lot with my own clients. Where they're just like, oh my gosh, I love anime and I love Tokyo and I love nostalgia and pop culture, and like you're doing all these crazy, edgy, bold things. It's like you're reading my mind. You just get me. Oh my gosh, I want to pay your higher fee because I want to work with you. So that's what we're trying to do, is understand your brand identity to better understand who your ideal client is, to better understand how you guys both relate to each other so you can create content and messaging that resonates with them. So think of their top 3 problems right now. Where designers fail is to think of the solutions and share those. So most designers share their services, and their services aren't actually addressing what the design problem is and what the design solution is and how it transforms, that person's life. What is the result in transformation? So there's 3 things happening, or more so not happening. So you want to make sure you're touching all those bases when you have a social media post or even on your website. When you are on a post and if it doesn't speak to you, you scroll past, right? So your clients are doing that. So you can't just talk about a service that doesn't relate to that client. Remember, you don't want to speak to the masses. You want to speak to one person. Like you are speaking directly, across the table from them. If you can speak a little bit more niche down, and think about, okay, what are the problems that they're facing right now? What is the solution that I can provide? Have I done this before? What was the transformation of my previous clients? All those things are way more important than listing your service. Not just design related, right? But what are they facing in life? So with some of my clients that I've been working with, it's not just about like how to get this beautiful living room, no, it's more about what is personally happening behind the scenes with your ideal client. That is why design related, yes, there's, they probably want a pretty living room, but what is maybe not working out design related or maybe undesign related? So when you better understand your ideal client, here's an example. One of my clients, Amanda Muster, we've niched her down to work with other busy families, targeting busy moms who have little ones. So once she could, identify that, it was like, oh, well, as a mother myself, right? And not me, but her, she could identify, well, what's your living room like? Well, it's filled with toys from my kids and I'm always stepping on them. And, I wish, I could have more of an adult friendly space when like if a neighbor pops over and it's just like, okay, well, we have to figure out easy storage solutions. Maybe some furniture that does double duty, like so we can just grab these toys and, take the ottoman top off and throw them down there and voila. Like there's different design dilemmas that, again, come back to what's happening in their personal life or their family life, or maybe they're a bachelor or they're single, or they're this or they're that. There's different reasons for entertaining, and there's different reasons for the functionality of the space with the constraints of the other family members or pets or neighbors or roommates. So once you back up to the brand identity and know more about who you are, that can trickle down to who you're best, almost like a matchmaking thing, best to serve at the end of the day. What's going to happen if they don't hire you, right? So this is a really good thing that I always put on my website makeover. It's really important. I don't see this enough of like, what happens if they don't hire you, right? Why haven't they hired you? So these are the questions that you need to think about and answer and put in your social media content or website so that it's like, oh my gosh, it's like you're reading my mind. We want that moment with your ideal client. So one chance to make a first impression, right? And again, you don't want to waste this. So be careful with your messaging and your photos. Remember, you have one chance to make a very good and memorable first impression, not a bad one. If you have a selfie profile picture and a vague bio that's just old, you definitely are going to confuse the heck out of people. They're going to be like, you're coming off pretty unprofessional. Is this like a personal page, or, did I stumble on a personal account? And without that specialization, you're going to look pretty basic, like all the other vanilla designers out there. So you're going to attract the wrong people or the cheapskates. So giving off the wrong vibe that you're inexperienced and maybe amateur when you might even have a degree, right? So you might look worse as, let's say you're a veteran interior designer and you have 10 years experience and you have like all these certifications, but your social media presence or even your website, right? Your online presence is lacking, seems amateur, seems inexperienced. And this other newbie, eDesigner who's better with tech and has answered these questions, has good resonating messaging, will beat you, unfortunately. So that's where I shine to figure out how to best elevate your graphics, your messaging, your brand identity, and create a target audience with a niche. Let's recap a little bit. Defining your ideal client, very, very important. Define your messaging in a very clear way. Remember, defining your ideal client, you want it to resonate with a little bit of you. It needs to relate to you. And that's why you got to go back to the brand identity. So define your messaging in a clear way. It's a powerful tool if you can hone in on who you really want to work with. Do this foundational work, and then you'll start seeing some profits in business and some more success in your business. So once you answer these questions, you'll actually start attracting these people if you can actually put it up. So some of the things is, let's do the work here, let's brainstorm, but we can't keep it all in our mind. Your ideal client can't read your mind. We're not mind readers, just like you with your homeowner clients when they're just like, well, I just don't like it, but I'm not going to say why. Like, you'll figure it out. You can't read their mind, and neither can your clients. So remember that. So know your niche and specialization. This is key. Go back to the brand identity or hit me up because I specialize in creating authentic brands for my interior design peers. So project the professional that you want to be, not the amateur. So imposter syndrome is real. I totally get it. Everyone's been there, but you don't have to wait years and years and years to actually update your branding, understand and have the clarity to get good target marketing, a better website, better messaging. All of these things really trickle down to the success of your business. And lastly, be clear on your persona, right? So are you confident? Are you casual? Are you reserved? You don't want to be changing that, and confusing your clients, because you need to be authentic to you, because we want to connect with you as a person, not a robot. So share info that makes you relatable, like we talked about before, to your dream client, and think like your client, so you can run ads and target them to hit their pain point specifically. And be consistent across platforms. So when they explore your other links, they can easily recognize you and your branding and be that, much closer to feeling comfortable in approaching you, DMing you, hiring you, because they've seen you between 5 to 7 times. Feel free to reach out with any questions anytime. I'm super excited to always get to know my community of eDesigners and interior designers. If you have any topic requests, be sure to also send those my way. I'm super excited to create episodes that are going to help you guys, my peers. So peer-to-peer, thanks again.